BlackRock CEO Larry Fink says the pain is not over yet and not to trust the latest crypto bounce. Plus, is HBAR about to form a massive partnership with NVIDIA? This is your Altcoin Buzz news. Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Cody, and if you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't drop the latest content. Follow us on Twitter, Altcoin Buzz.io, and as always, not financial advice. We wish you the best of luck in your crypto ventures. Alright, you guys, so yesterday we had a bit of a bounce, more so than I was expecting. We came all the way back up to around $81,000. There's a whole bunch of news that came out yesterday. There was fake news that came out that pumped the stock market, that Fed would consider pausing all tariffs for 90 days except for China. That was actually fake news, but it went all over CNBC. So the market was crazy yesterday. It pumped and dumped, and ultimately it does look like we are continuing to go down. It was just, everyone was expecting a Black Monday for the US stock market. It happened for all the other markets around the world. But then we ended up pumping as, different countries came out and said they're willing to now negotiate tariffs. Taiwan came out. Europe is now, in talks as well. And so there's a lot going on with tariffs. And so we didn't have that dump I was expecting all the way down to $71,000. But I do think it is still possible that we could go down there. And it seems that BlackRock's Larry Fink thinks the same as well. So yesterday we did have that little bit of a reversal. We didn't go down to 4,600 like I was thinking on the S&P. But I don't think we're quite out of the woods just yet. Unless some absolutely amazing news comes out today, I do think this is still just kind of an underside retest. We have a level of resistance right here, which we haven't broken through yet. We also have this level of resistance. So we're not out of the woods quite yet, but it is a nice sign that we are starting to see some countries in talks, and hopefully these tariffs, these issues kind of go away. But here we are with BlackRock Larry Fink saying this about Trump's tariffs, his actions, and that he could see another 20% market decline from here. So he said this:
Are we headed for a recession? Are we in a recession?
Most CEOs I talk to would say we are probably in a recession right now.
Right now.
A couple of airline CEOs told me, one CEO specifically said, the airline industry is like a proverbial bird in a coal mine, canary in the coal mine, and I was told that the canary is sick. And I think even before the tariffs, there was so much change, so much volatility. I think this is one of the reasons why even 4 or 5 weeks ago, most CEOs were telling me business is incrementally getting worse. I think whether it was a threat of tariffs, whether it's just all these changes, I think more and more people were pausing and slowing down consumption. And all of this, I would imagine now with the market setback, is going to freeze more and more consumption. And I think we're going to start seeing that really quickly. So I do believe in the coming months we're going to see more evidence of a slowdown in this economy.
But then on the flip side, the Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, said this about 70 countries approaching the U.S. to rebalance trade.
Larry, I can tell you that there are 50, 60, maybe almost 70 countries now who have approached us. So it's going to be a busy April, May, maybe into June. And Japan is a very important military ally. They're a very important economic ally. And the U.S. has a lot of history with them. So I would expect that Japan's going to get priority just because they came forward very quickly. But it's going to be very busy. And if President Trump, again, gave himself maximum negotiating leverage, and just when he achieved the maximum leverage, he's willing to start talking.
So like you said in the end there, it does seem that this isn't going to be just a quick fix. This could take weeks, months, and he is saying this could even go out to potentially June as they're renegotiating all these things. So I don't think it's going to be an immediate V reversal on Bitcoin. We did see a nice recovery yesterday, but like Larry Fink was saying, don't trust this bounce. I do think we could see a little bit more downside. I don't understand why we wouldn't come all the way down here towards this, very important level of support at $71,500. I'm not sure why we would front run it here at $74,000 and not test out what liquidity is down here. But that's just me. So I do think we still get a little bit more downside, and I do think this takes a couple more weeks to months to play out. I think we probably have something like this where we continue down here and then we just kind of consolidate for a while as the tariffs get settled out and, we see what we're doing. But moving on, we have Solana's TVL has hit a 22-month high as DEX volume shows strength. Solana is flexing its DeFi muscle. The network's total value locked has climbed to 53.8 million SOL, the highest level since June 2022, reflecting a 14% monthly rise. So this is not necessarily in dollar terms, but the highest TVL in Solana terms. In dollar terms, that's $6.5 billion, putting Solana ahead of the BNB chain by $780 million. Solana now commands 24% of DEX market share, outperforming BNB at 12% and Base at 10%. We also have Ash Crypto saying, breaking, the SEC has now acknowledged Fidelity is filing for a spot Solana ETF, bullish for Solana. Now, Solana was one of the ones yesterday that hit, double digits, but then recovered sharply along with the market. But overall, I don't think it looks that great right now. We are kind of doing an underside retest of this level here. Whether we get another spike up to this level around 120 at market open, that's to be seen. But I do think eventually we do come down here towards $88, this next major level of support for Solana. Unfortunately, I don't think the days are over for two-digit Solana unless something major happens. But this is what I'm expecting for Solana in the meantime, and I don't plan to do anything just yet right now. I want to wait for us to get down to this next level of support. So even though we're hitting all-time highs in TVL, doesn't necessarily mean the price has to go up. So good things can be happening for the chain, but it doesn't reflect in the price. Then we have XRP. So Ripple's XRP just posted a video with the Cardano ADA logo as the opening scene. A huge partnership announcement incoming. So potentially XRP and Cardano they've been in talks for a while about potentially doing something. So we could be seeing something with XRP and Cardano soon. Cardanians also posted this video of Charles Hoskinson recently talking about Bitcoin event in 2025 and Cardano going to it.
We're going to get Bitcoin to work with Cardano, and we'll be there at May 2025 at Bitcoin 2025. And we'll have a great demo for that. There's a lot of people we're bringing.
And then also Cardano's ADA has outperformed Bitcoin, ETH, and Solana in the past 160 days, according to data from TradingView. So ADA has actually been one of the better performers, more so because I think it was one of the ones that kind of was the least likely to be included of all the coins that included in the, President Trump's list of altcoins for the, I'm blanking, for the strategic reserve. That's the word I was looking for. Cardano was the least likely, I think, of all to be included in the strategic reserve. So I think it pumped the most, and it also had, other things going for it at the time. So I think that outperformance as well kind of helped Cardano in the past, 160 days, along with a lot of the new upgrades they've been having and a lot of like partnerships that Charles Hoskinson, also being made in USA Coin, has been, doing. However, it still doesn't look the best. We had this underside retest. We came back down to this next level of support. Now we're kind of hovering here. If we break this, it's not ideal. I do think we're probably coming back down to this next major level of support, which is something like this, somewhere around here. So probably 46 cents is the next major level of support if we lose this one, which it kind of looks like we are right now. I don't expect Bitcoin to keep going down to $71,000 and Cardano not also lose it. So I think we're probably coming down here now to this next level of support for Cardano. Something like this is what I can expect. So probably 46 for Cardano, which is unfortunate because, it had such a strong move up off the bottom from, 30 cents all the way up to $1.33. It had a huge move, but now it seems like we're fully retracing that, and then we're going to have to start again. But that is Cardano right now. Then moving on, we have Mark, who says, this is huge for HBAR. NVIDIA Regional VP of Engineering just posted this. This is a major endorsement, painting Hedera as a game changer and the future of AI. So Anthony Rong, NVIDIA's Regional Vice President of Engineering, said, NVIDIA just announced the integration of Hedera's hashgraph, HBAR, into its AI system, a powerful combination that could reshape the future of decentralized AI and enterprise blockchain applications. What does this mean? Hedera's fast, secure, and energy-efficient public ledger now provides real-time, verifiable data integrity for AI workflows, which will be a game changer for industries such as healthcare, supply chain, finance, and autonomous systems. So that's very big for HBAR, which is a big made in USA coin, but also just working with the US governments. We've had a lot of videos on HBAR actually recently, which you can find. I'll link them below as well. We've been talking about HBAR a lot. And also, All in Crypto says, according to Chain Broker, Hedera's HBAR is in the top 3 for projects with the most development growth at plus 1,385% as of April 2025, with XRP in 4th at 955%, followed by Arbitrum at 1650 in first place. And then Gilmore Estate says, breaking, HBAR is being called the United Nations of the Internet, and it's not just hype. Hedera is rapidly positioning itself as a digital backbone for global systems, partnered with the UN to digitize carbon markets, powering conflict alert systems protecting millions, governing council expanding to 100 plus major institutions, hosting rural apps like Tune.fm, disrupting Spotify. With unmatched speed, security, and sustainability, Hedera is quietly becoming the standard for trusted enterprise-grade Web3 infrastructure. We're early, very early. So Hedera is making pretty big moves recently, but I will say it doesn't necessarily mean, like everything, that their token has to go up. We are at the next level of support here, so we broke down through this major level of around 18 cents. We're now sitting around, just above 14 cents as we've come back up. But if the rest of the market goes down, I do expect us to probably break through this level again, coming down to the next major level of support, which is probably around 11 cents. So, we probably see something like this for the next major level back down here, 11.5 cents ish. So HBAR, I'm not pretty much for all these altcoins. I'm not recommending you do anything just yet because I do expect us to have more downside. But likewise, if I'm wrong, what you can wait for is a reclaim of a level to be sure that the market has changed. So you want to see us come back above this level and start to reclaim levels like this across any of these altcoins, whether it's HBAR, ADA, Solana, XRP, any of these. So you want to wait for this level reclaim to get back in. So even if you have to buy, 10, 20% higher, the chance of it continuing higher is a lot better if you wait for a level reclaim. So either you're going to buy up here if you want, HBAR, whatever altcoin, or you can buy it for a better price down here when we come back to this next level of support and Bitcoin hits its major level of support at $69,000. So pretty much the same across all these altcoins right now. And then we have James Saver, who says new Takerium ETFs is launching the first XRP ETF in the US tomorrow. XXRP will be a 2x long XRP futures. And then we also have Eric Baltunas, the other senior ETF analyst, who says a 2x XRP ETF is launching tomorrow in the US, the first ever XRP ETF on the market. Very odd, maybe a first, that a new asset's first ETF is leverage. Spot XRP is still not approved, although our odds are pretty high. So good things happening for XRP. The first XRP ETF is going live, and then XRP, though, still not looking great. Like I said, kind of like the same thing that happens when Binance launches futures versus when Binance launches spot. I do think, because there's a leverage, on XRP, it's not always the most bullish thing in the short term for price. So, it is good that more XRP is going to be able to get traded, but because it's not a spot, people aren't just buying it. People can also short it now and at 2x leverage. So, XRP went all the way down to $1.61 yesterday, but its major support is at $1.49, which I could still see it going to. So if we have a little bit of a pump today up into New York Open, if we have a reclaim of about $2, I could still see us do this underside retest down back here towards $1.39 to around $1.50 for its next major level of support. But yeah, this is not looking the best for XRP as it's slowly drifting down, and we had this wick back up, but it still can't really seem to hold. What would change my mind is if we started to actually reclaim this level and we were able to reclaim somewhere around here. That would change my mind. But for now, I do think we're going to be able to get XRP cheaper in the coming days to week. So that is XRP. Then lastly, we have Avalanche, and a $20 trillion global industry has moved to Avalanche. Water, the blockchain infrastructure purpose-built for commodities market, is migrating to an Avalanche Layer 1, bringing metals, minerals, food, and fuel into composable and programmable future. And while massive in scale, the commodities industry has yet to fully benefit from blockchain infrastructure that can enhance liquidity, broaden access, and drive innovation. Water Protocol is building an on-chain foundation to redefine how commodities are financed, traded, and governed. And then Avalanche also set another major step for tokenized finance on Avalanche. Wisdom Tree, a global financial firm with $100 billion plus in assets under management, is expanding its tokenized fund offering to Avalanche. Wisdom Tree Connect brings the largest suite of 13 SEC-registered tokenized funds to the ecosystem. So Avalanche has been quietly doing a lot of great things with huge financial institutions around the world. I will say it did lose this major level of support, so not great for the price, but very big things are being built on Avalanche, and I could see it going much higher in the future. We just have to get past this little hiccup we're going through right now. So it lost this major level around $19.88. Came all the way down to next level of support around $14.94. We have a small little bounce today, but it's nothing too crazy. I do expect us to probably break through this next level of support back down to around $11.06 as this next major level of support, unfortunately. So I don't think it's going to hold this level if we do go lower on other assets like Bitcoin. So we want this next level to hold around around $11 for Avalanche. I do think we get cheaper prices in the next couple of days for Avalanche, just like everything else. But that's Avalanche. That's the rest of the market. Kind of like Larry Fink, I do kind of agree. I don't, expect this bounce to hold very much today. I do think maybe because the market was so sold off yesterday across everything else that everyone was expecting the black money for the U.S. markets, although it went down, in pre-market about 5% and then, rallied through the rest of the day as different, news events came out regarding tariffs around the world. So I do think we probably still come down today, maybe tomorrow, sometime this week, we still see a little bit lower prices for Bitcoin and everything. But I do think, as always, Bitcoin will come out of this much stronger in the future, and we'll have a lot more clarity going forward. So it might just take a couple weeks, maybe a couple months, and then we'll be better and we'll be well off. So that is the video for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow.